to Stitching Plaza Knits. I am GeorgeAnne, your host, and you are joining us for episode 11 of the podcast primarily about knitting, crocheting, some sewing, and other makey good stuff that we do here in San Diego, California, my hometown, where I live with my husband John, my son Michael, and our two dogs Baxter and Rollo. I'm so glad that you can join us today. It is Friday the 13th, and it is the first time in about 4 weeks that we have had normal weather here in San Diego, where I didn't feel like I had buckets and buckets of water dumped on me. We have been experiencing one of our usually two heat waves for the year the past couple of weeks, and it has made life interesting. I have really not wanted to sew and not wanted to knit. The few projects I have picked up, I've probably ripped out. But then about 3 days ago, I went through castanitis, and we will talk about that in a little bit in Works in Progress, where I had to cast on a bunch of things, and I have a growing list of yarn and needles and bags already in my queue, set up to knit some more. So why don't you have a seat, spend some time with me. My beverage of choice today is my friendly Diet Coke from McDonald's, and I'm hoping that it'll give me a little extra kick for today. If you haven't joined us before, thank you for stopping by. If you've returned to the podcast, thank you for coming back. It's always nice to see you. Let's jump right in with what is going on in our Ravelry group. I want to congratulate our winner for the free yarn, and it's bagged up already, so I will post a picture here. It is going out. I did a random number generator, and as soon as I pull it up, where is it? Nope, you don't want to see my phone book. It was post, oops, see it, there we go. Post number 12 in the yarn, and that is, post is Lore 93 from Illinois. And I happen to know that this is Laura from the podcast Knit for Brain. So hi, Laura. If you can let me know that you've seen this podcast, and I can send out your yarn without a problem. I do have your address still somewhere, but if you want to shoot it to me, that would be great. I was going to airburn people, but I want you to make sure that you are all watching the podcast to make sure that you are seeing what's going on and checking us out. And what else do we have going on in the Ravelry group? We still have our big box along, which is going to be coming to an end very quickly. September 15th, I believe, is when it ends, and it's for any commercial yarn. I got the hiccups. Commercially available yarn, Knit Picks, Malabrigo, big box store yarn, and making. Oh, excuse me, the hiccups are bad. So please remember to post your finished objects there. I will be picking for a winner, and you will be getting a bunch of goodies that we have listed in the Ravelry group. And we also have the Knit Down Your Stash, which we have right now, one entry and myself. So that's only two people posting, and all that requires is a photo of a portion of your stash, and if you are knitting out of it. And you can just tell me what you're knitting, and then we like to see what you've accomplished. Other than that, it's a real easy cal, and that one will be ending at the end of the 2018. We do have a couple new make-alongs coming up. I've been in touch with the Cozy Up Sisters, Cozy Up from Alberta, Canada, Jamie. Hi, Jamie. And I'm going to be doing in my Ravelry group a knit along for any of their shawl patterns, mittens, hats, whatever you want to do. And I will be gifting a pattern from the Cozy Sisters of your choice for the winner of the winner of the make along on that one, and that starts on this Sunday, July 15th, and ends on September, let's see, when did we say? September 1, it's going to end. It's going to be in my podcast alone, but it's any pattern, like I said, any pattern from the Cozy Up Sisters, 25% or less completed, so you can have works in progress in this cal. Poly dipping is not only accepted, it's encouraged. And if you can tag your item on Instagram, I would love to see it. The tag is hashtag SP Cozy Make MCAL. So it's SPCOZYMCAMKAL. I'll put that somewhere in here, um, along with, just because it totally slipped my mind, I will be putting show notes in my Ravelry group. And if you're watching me on YouTube, you can find the show notes on the link below, and that will take you to the Ravelry group, which where my show notes will be. So I really enjoyed putting show notes in. It helped me review what I did last time I saw you, especially since it's been 4 weeks. I didn't think they were necessary before, but now I totally get it. So again, that will be the new make along starting this Sunday, July 15th, running to September 1. After this podcast, after this make along ends, we are going to be doing a make along with the Cozy Sisters, Cozy Up Sisters, and it will be in both our show groups. I cannot talk today. Really, maybe I just need more caffeine or less. So you'll be able to poly dip in both of ours, but it'll be a Melanie Berg knit along with the girls. So I know we have 4 entries from them. There we go. And we'll have my entry. So I hope to see a lot more entries from you guys. So that's what's happening in the group. But don't forget, Laura, please contact me to make sure that you've seen this podcast so I can send out your stuff. And with that, that's the Ravelry group. It's a really good group. I like to get a little bit more chatter going on. I try to stay as active as possible. So if you guys have any ideas, please, please, please feel free to start a chain. I don't care. Just have fun. So what have I been working on? Well, I have one finished object in 4 weeks since I've last seen you. And I think last time you saw these were actually a hoe. And the even sadder part is, I don't consider an item finished until I've got all my ends sewn in and it's been blocked. Well, this has been blocked, but my ends did not get woven in yet. But here are my Poo Noodles socks, and you will not have a problem finding me in the wintertime with these socks on. Yep, see, there's a string. I absolutely love this. This is Fiberworks yarn, Poo Noodles. I did these on my Magic Loop 2.25 carbons, and it really, really worked up great. I finished them so fast. Like I said, I had a hoe last time we saw each other, and then I finished this one a couple of days after the last podcast, and then I didn't do anything. I had a little bit of castanitis, so you will see that. I have bags ready at the go with needles and yarn. I have patterns printed out. I know what I want to make. I've just not really been in a place where I can want to knit, because of course in a heat wave, what do? You knit your wool sweaters, and having never knit a wool sweater before, this is absolutely the perfect time. But I'm going to put an end to all that. I am going to get back to my knitting. We have quite a few collaborations coming up. Oh yeah, I'm the owner and designer of StitchingPlaza bags. So it's StitchingPlaza.com, on Ravelry, on Etsy. So nothing like putting one object down and then remembering you have another object to talk about. So if you would like to check out our bags, please do. right now I'm running, seeing how it's Friday the 13th, I am running a little bit of a sale. It's on automatic 10% off anything in the shop, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in shop news. And then I'll also give you a special code that gives you an additional 13% off. But like I said, when I went to put down the socks, I found something else I wanted to talk to you about. So I've been doing giveaways on the Ravelry group. So I'm going to do a little switch up here. This is for you, my podcast viewers. And I actually stealing this idea from Potion Yarn's podcast. I was previously giving away yarn in the Ravelry group, like I said, but now I want to give something away to you. So if you are watching, you can now win this Stitching Plaza bag. It's really me. And I will go into details how to do that in a little bit. But again, stealing the idea from Potion Yarns, I absolutely got to tell you, if you have not seen her Cauldron podcast, I highly recommend it. She right now is starting a series on what is wool, and I have been a knitter crocheter since I was about 6 or 7, and back then I used a lot of plastic yarns because it was easily available for my grandmother and me. And it wasn't until probably the past maybe 6 years that I started to get really into the higher wool contents. Even Woolies was not doing it for me, but I've discovered I am in love with wool. And she has an amazing Potion Yarns, like I said, has an amazing podcast on what is wool and why does it feel like it does, and why do we use superwash and why do we use a BFL. And honestly, if you've got a good 15-20 minutes, I would highly recommend checking out What is Wool, her latest podcast, and I will put a link, again, show notes, so that you can go see her. And if you tell her that you saw her on here, I would totally give you a thumbs up and dig it. So yeah, I digressed, and I went and talked about everything but knitting for a moment. Yeah, so socks are done. So what have I been doing? Probably the past maybe 8 days, I've started going back into my bags. And let me show you, let's see, where is it? All the works in progress are behind here. I will be right back. Hopefully I did a fancy schmancy edit and you didn't see my side too long. I have been working on I picked up my Drachenfeld shawl again. And I am very proud of where I am on this. These are something you can find in the shop on occasion. I pre-make them. They're needlepoint cozies, and you can also use them for DPN as well as your circular needles. Circulars, you put them in, you let the cable hang out, and it helps when they're in the bag, but if you still give them a good tug, they're going to slip out. But I feel a little bit better knowing that they're protected while they're in the bag. So here's my Drachenfeld. This is garter row after garter row after garter row. But the last time you saw it, it was down here somewhere. And I have picked this up and I brought it into the movie house probably Monday. Oops. And just because it's garter and there's a little light at the very back of the theater, I was able to see when I had to do an increase or decrease. So I was able to get all but the last 8 rows done. And then I will do the gray and cast it off. But again, what do you do when you're working in a heat wave? You don't pick up little items. You pick up big, heavy ones. Yeah, that was fun. But the shanklet, as my husband has started calling it, is keeping me warm while I'm knitting in a very cool theater, and I'm in shorts and a tank top. So that was a definite plus. But I love the Drachenfeld. It's daunting. It's made with Michael's Joy DK 100% acrylic. It is knitting up, I think, beautifully. I am going to be blocking it, or not blocking it, but I'm going to finish it and soak it in probably just like some kind of cheapo hair conditioner swab or whatever's on sale, and let it just sit there for a little bit to get any kind of eckies that I put in there. But also because I don't have to worry about how long I'm soaking it or if it's warm or cold water, for somehow it eases the stitches and they're all uniform. When I'm done soaking, I will wring it out. No, like wring it, but wring it out and put it on the patio. Probably let it dry with a little bit of drape over our railing and get a just so that the weight itself of the shawl will block itself. And it worked really well with my Market Street. I think that's what it's called. Market Street is what I've been called. But it's the one from Molly Klein that I made before. And it worked really well. The stitches became pretty and uniformed. But if I'm doing this also with my stash dash, and let's see, I'm on skein 5. I'm going to need skein 6. So each one is 250 meters. So that's 1,500 meters I'm doing in my stash dash. So yay, I think I'm going to be able to make, I know I'm going to make 3,000, not a problem. I'm hoping to make 5,000 meters in stash dash. It's a personal goal I would like to see myself do. I think if I stop doing cast on itis, I think there's a chance. But there's so many lovelies I want to make, and this whole idea of Christmas knitting was what I was hoping to do this year. Honestly, I've become a very selfish knitter, and I used to be monogamous. Not happening. But my Christmas gifts, I had them all planned. I wrote them down. I had set my goals. And now I'm like, okay, I'm going to make this for me to wear with this and that. I'm not even knitting for my husband or my kids anymore. One kid. When I have a stepson who is absolutely amazing. I'm very proud of him. And he's only 11 months older than my son. But he's got his own stuff going on, and he lives up in Northern Cal, and he would be perfect for knitwear. But I don't want to knit for anybody else but me. I deserve this. I've knitted so many blankets in the past some odd years that I am totally enjoying garments. Let me show you why. So, Dragonfeld, again, I can squish it. It is very squishy. I like that part. Okay, so that's work in progress 1. Work in progress 2 is a remake. You saw me working on my Chrissy, I believe it was the Chrissy shawl, last podcast. And I had it in the DK, and it was going to be a Christmas present, and I was going to do it this way and that way. I ripped it out. I have since discovered, and thank you who mentioned it, I am definitely a process knitter. I don't mind ripping out items. I actually enjoy the process, even ripping out and frogging and then reknitting. It freaks people out, and I'll tell you a little story about that on my next project. But I started this little baby, and like I said, Chrissy was available in DK weight. Well, she also did a pattern for fingering. Same pattern, but it's also available in fingering. So here it is. And this yarn is to die for. It's Honeybee Knits from Melissa. It was her, the yarn that she was knitting, she dyed up for her friend who she helped with the family, with the donations. It was an amazing effort. But, so this is Honeybee Knits in her Cancer colorway, and I will put all the information in. It is in my project page, so you can always look that up. And I talked to Jamie about it, and fingering weight was designed, and she recommended a size 4 on her needles. I'm moving up to a 6 because I like the way the fabric flows. But now I'm to the point where I'm looking at it going, I want a little bit wider. And I talked to Jamie of Cozy Knits, and I am going to put in a couple of extra wedges. So now I'm doing my math and figuring it out, and I'm hacking the pattern. So I'm not sure if I want to do another set of short rows here. So it would be short rows. Let's see if you can see this. Okay, so short rows here, and then more short rows here. But I was also thinking, as much as I love all that purple, maybe do the short rows on this side and then bring it all together with a longer short row here. So this is why this one's on, it's not on hiatus, it's just on math figuring time. And I love math. I am so glad. There's my 6th and 7th grade math teachers are now laughing at me because I barely passed basic algebra. But I now enjoy calculus, statistics, trig, all that. And I love figuring out even basic, well, not even, but basic math to get the patterns right. And I never thought Mr. Mitchell and Mr. Brown would ever get me to understand what X was, because I didn't care what X was at that time. I care what X is now. So when my son says, why do I have to learn this? You will learn it. You will not have 2 trains coming together at the same time unless you're working as an engineer. But as a knitter, I need to find out what X is and sometimes Y. So yay math. Total diversion from where I was going with. But I like this color. Again, this is going to be, for me, selfish knitter. I can't wait to wear this. I'm finding since my cancer, and you can barely even see it, I had my thyroid removed, and I'm not conscious of the scar, but I get really cold, like right in this area, especially when the weather starts turning. So I'm thinking shawls and scarves, wraps and shawls. I don't want to do scarves. I lived in New England too long. I think that's definitely going to be the way for me to go. I've been now cancer free, well, cancer remission free for almost 4 years. Yeah, 1, 2, coming into our third year. In fact, I talked to my endocrinologist, and he said surprisingly well receptive on the drugs. Yay. So I can't complain. If that's the one thing that cancer took from me, I can live with that. I get to see my son grow up, and he's an amazing guy. If you guys know me, you know Michael is my everything. So whip 2 for me. Whip 2. Whip 3. I picked this yarn up because one must knit socks when one is in a heat wave, of course, because we want to put on heavy stuff. And I'm not saying anything that y'all aren't going through elsewhere. I know the Midwest has been hit. I know the East Coast is going through their stuff. But when you're hitting 111 in the shade here in San Diego, you literally cannot do anything. And the beach is right there. I can see beachy stuff. But this is Arnie and Carlo's Regia. Perfect. And you're theoretically supposed to be knitting these from cuff down. I don't like cuff down. I don't like gusset flaps. Although I'm going to try the mathematician's formula based on what Joanna of Stitching the High Notes has suggested. So I am doing an experiment and seeing how this works. So this would have been the cuff, and I did my cuff plus 4 rows, and I did cut it because I would have had way too much extra yarn. I just didn't want all that blue on the toe. I am now coming to what I believe is the toe in the yarn. And I say believe because I took what extra yarn I had here and I used it for a fish lips kiss heel here. I should have taken a picture, but I went up and then I continued knitting in this colorway, and I didn't like it because it messes so much from this pattern. So I'm sitting at a water park watching the kids in the wave pool, and I'm ripping out wool socks. So again, people freak out when you're ripping out. Am I the only one that notices that, or do people like let out a small how dare you? So I will let you know. I'm gonna do work on that tonight. We're gonna go see a couple of movies this coming week. I know Mamma Mia is coming out on the 20th, and I just got John to watch the first one. So this might be Mamma Mia knitting. If not, it will be pull knitting again. But you see where I'm going with. So I'm gonna try putting that as the heel and see how it works. But I want to prove to myself that Perfect is, I can do toe up. And I'm sure you can. I'm sure there's ways that you have to cut the fabric or cut the yarn. I think it's just a small mental challenge to me right now. And I also have, like, up there 3 or 4 more skeins of Perfect in Christmas colorways. And this is a Christmas colorway. I like, look at that little pop of purple. No, I don't know if it's picking up on the screen. But it's a pop of purple with very soft mint. And I think it's really pretty. I was talking about my socks at Knit Group the other day, and apparently I'm not the only one that has one of those. I have an IKEA 6-drawer dresser upstairs, and sweater, sweatpants, sweatshirts, t-shirts, socks for my husband are one drawer. I have a whole drawer of knitted socks, single level for mine. And now I have another drawer starting, which is some socks, and now my shawls, which I wrap up and keep it in. And I have cedar blocks. And I'm thinking I want to get lavender sachets. I'm not digging the cedar. But yeah, I have a lot of socks. My goal is not to have to wash socks every 2 weeks. But I love them all. They're so cushy. And we have really cool hardwood floors. So it's like slide to the left, well, that would be slide to the left, slide to the right. Crisscross. I digress. So we'll see. I do like that it's not just stripes. I'm doing these 64 cast on 2.25 millimeters, and I am getting the designs, which I like. I don't like just plain stripes. I do like the color variations. Whip 2. Let me see what else I've got over here. 1, 2. No, that was whip 3. Sorry, whip 3. This is whip 4. This has been monopolizing a lot of my time the past couple of days. If you know me, you know I have never knitted a garment for myself. I have knit baby sweaters, baby blankets, baby socks, lots of baby sweaters. But I have never cast on a sweater for myself. And I have. And I'm very proud of myself. Let's see if I can do this. This is by Tin Can Knits. This is the Harvest cardigan. And I am doing the 2X or XXL. I'm not sure how they notate it, but it's third from the largest. And I'm going to have a cardigan that fits me, that I love, that I think I'm just going to continue to grab every time we go out. And the best part, touch of alpaca, which I picked up on clearance at Michael's. And it is, I think it's like 90% acrylic, 10% alpaca, big box store yarn. But you can't feel the plasticness of the acrylic. Normally $10 on clearance, which is 50% off the clearance price, for $2.19. 400 yards. 400 yards, $2. Who does this? So needless to say, I have 5 skeins of this. This was all done with 1 skein. So we just started our second skein. I'm figuring there's going to be a hat somewhere in this, and probably fingerless mitts as well. Not all to be worn at the same day, but could be if need be. I love it. I own I love the construction. This is a free pattern, so if you haven't checked out Tin Can Knits, and they have great videos on how to do certain projects, and it's a building class basically with their So Simple collection. You knit. You start with a provisional cast on the collar, and then you knit your garter collar, and then you go back and you pick up stitches on the edge and you knit down. And the reason I started the harvest cardigan was I belong to a group on Facebook called Purl Together. And Jana, I think that's how you pronounce her name, has a fantastic sloth knitting along group. There is no deadlines, there's no pressure. It's a great question and answer group. And I figured if there was anybody that can help me having to go my size, I was ready for it. So I am 4 rows away from no more increasing, and it's just on the button band now. I will be putting in one solitary button down here, and then I'm going to switch from body to sleeves because I don't want the bulk on my lap when I am knitting the sleeves, and then I will go back to the body. And I'm actually going to knit it past my bum and make it almost like I think they call them car coats, or they did with my mom's day, just so it's a little longer. I like my tush covered. And I'm going to hopefully I'm going to get this in the Strings and More make along. I say hopefully. Theirs ends July 31st for a cardigan, and if I keep going at the rate I'm going, there's a chance. But we have had a lot of collaborations for the bags to come to fruition, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to dedicate as much time to knitting as I want to right now. But I'm knitting this in the car. I'm caught up on binge watching on some of my Netflix. The raglan was the only part that I was stuck on. I think next time I'm going to do a little bit different of a make one increase so that I have a more distinct line. But again, super easy. Love Tin Can Knits. I have the pattern for a So Faded cardigan, or the Faded cardigan by Andrea Mowry. I'm thinking, just because I've listened to so many podcasters about how many rows you have to knit, how many stitches you have to pick up and then cast off for the button band, I might actually Frankenstein the two patterns and make a So Faded using this concept, but her math. I'm not sure. And add more to that, I might do it in fingering. Again, told you, lots of things in the mind going, oh, well, let's make more. How's that? Let's just keep going with that. So I think that's all the works in progress. Let me just check along. Yeah, that's it. That's all ones that are actually on the needles. In this bag, it's another, I think this is going to be, oops, where'd it go? There it is. 3 Color Cow by Hohi. And in, oops, that one is my Doodler yarn with the needles, all pattern printed, everything. Haven't started it. I'm going to try to finish at least one thing, at least a sock at this point. But I do like being able to say, oh, it's too hot, I can't do this. I want to do this one. It's been fun. Other than that, that's it on the knitting stuff that I've been working on. So I told you in the beginning of the podcast, there is a way to clean one of my bags. So what I would like you to do, this is going to be for subscribers only, for YouTube podcasters, YouTube podcast subscribers. Why is that so difficult for me to say today? What I want you to do, if you would like to enter, is like the video. If you give me a thumbs up, that's one entry. One part of the entry, 1/3 of the entry. The next thing you have to do is you have to subscribe. If you already are a subscriber, you don't have to do that part. That's the 2/3. Subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. The third part of winning the bag is leave me a comment. Go to if you'd like to, you can go to our Etsy store, which is www.stitchingplaza.com, and tell me what bag you like. Tell me if you like a drawstring. Tell me if you like a zipper. Tell me what makes your yarn happy when it sits in it. I would love to hear from you. Do those 3 steps. Subscribe, like the video, check out the Etsy store and tell me what you like and comment below. 3 steps. I will be picking from the comments alone on the next podcast, and you can win a bag. Isn't that cool? Super easy. So if you haven't bought a bag from me before, can you still enter? Yes. If you bought 3 bags and you tell me you bought 3 bags and you love them all, will it give you extra entries? No, it's 1 entry. I'm going to cut it fair. I'm opening up the playing field. If you've never been to my shop and you're like, oh, I didn't even know she made bags, that's kind of cool, and you go over there and you say, oh, I really like this, but I really am more of this kind of a person, that's fine too. I just want to hear what you've got to say about the shop. Which brings me to shop news. So if you've been here for the knitting goodness and the free bag, thank you for sticking it out. It's been about 40 minutes. I will be putting a link in the Ravelry group for a free Cozy Up Sisters pattern with a prompt. I'll make up the prompt when I put it in. But don't forget to use her discount code for a pattern. Join us for the make along. And so we'll have the winner of the bag on one set. Here's the winner of the bag, and we'll also have a winner for a pattern. But now into shop news. If you're here for this, thank you for sticking around. I have had some really, really fun stuff going on in the shop lately. Haven't been photographing it, but I've been doing a lot of fun stuff. First of all, if you haven't heard about Countess Ablaze, there's a wonderful story, and I will link it in show notes, about what happened. And on July 1st, well, let me go back. She's an independent dyer in the UK, and she had some issues that made a very which should have been a good situation, a very bad one for her. And instead of taking that energy and making it negative, she made it into a positive and offered out there to the universe, any of the makers, what is now called the Tits Out Collective. And the idea was to take her colorway with the colors that she used, or an idea of your own, sell it to the world, and parts of the proceeds would go to benefit your favorite charity, which is what she was doing with her yarn, which created the happy sad story. Well, I'm not dyeing yarn yet. Note the yet part. That is actually in the business plan for 2019. But I decided to make a tits out, boobies out project bag. And the colors that Countess used was bright yellow, pink, purple, and oranges. And my $5 of every bag sold goes to benefit the San Diego Humane Society. It is a zero-kill shelter where I have adopted 5 dogs from. I love it. We got our first one, Bella. She was 12 years old. She had a cancerous growth on her hindquarters and had been at the shelter for 8 weeks. Nobody had adopted her. We adopted her. She was our first dog we adopted. We had her for only 6 months. We made her life as comfortable as possible. And sadly, Bella lost her fight to cancer 2 years ago. We then went back to the shelter. Oh, and she was deaf. Bella was not only cancer, she had a cancerous growth, but she was deaf. So Bella needed a hearing dog, which got us Bentley. Bentley was my Maltese poodle, full standard size poodle mix. and he was her hearing dog, and those two were inseparable. So when we lost Bella, we had to get Baxter a Beamer. Baxter, Beamer, car parts. My husband is a big car head, can you tell? And Beamer was, we got him when he was 6. He was with us till he was 9, and unfortunately he just passed away, I would say January, of brain aneurysm. Again, these puppies have they actually run the couch. They don't get to, I don't get the couch. John doesn't get the couch. They get the couch. We share it with them. But we've had Bella, Baxter, Beamer. We now have Bentley. We have Rolo. And all these have been shelters, rescues that we've gotten from the San Diego Humane Society, and I would definitely like to make a huge donation back to them, not only for believing what they do, but because they have given me awesome, awesome life mates. My Rolo, my Baxter are my cuddle buddies, and the reason I never wake up on time in the morning. So if you are interested, I do still have a couple of bags left in the Boobies Out collection. I did make it in zipper as well, but those sold out before I could podcast, and my photograph did not come out as well as I wanted it to. But if I sell out I'm going to run it through the month of July. If there's interest, I'm thinking of keeping the $5 donation for 1 bag a month and continue that way of giving back to the society. It really is a great philanthropic, a really great way to give back. So that is in the shop right now. Again, available in zipper by custom and ready to ship drawstring. So choice is yours. I also have, because of Tits Out Collective, I did have one thing I got this month. Honeybee knits. Those are the colors that just scream to me. This was her Tits Out Collective. If I want exposure, I'll get my tits out, is what it's called. This is on her 80-20? 80-20. And I bought this one with full intentions of doing the exploration station on. And I think this is going to be my colorway D, so it's the most on my back. So I'm now in the process of looking for a strong purple, yellow, pink. I might have to have Melissa dye me up a bunch, because I don't think I have them in my stash. Or maybe I can get Meg from, I'll see what Meg has at Bad Wolf Studios. And hi Meg! Hope you're feeling better. As a side note, Meg is doing, from Bad Wolf Girl Studios, is doing a buy off the wall sale right now, and she has got some of her stock on sale. The colors are magnificent. She is a dyer that I met. Actually, she wasn't even dyeing when we met about episode 6 of her podcast, and somehow we get each other. She contacted me. She was sick for a while. She contacted me while she was in the hospital. She asked me if I knew of anybody that was making cozy needle covers like I showed you. Of course, I made her more, but I know Meg is a Gryffindor, so I did her a complete line, and I'll insert a picture of all the Gryffindor stitch covers I made her. And I'm hope that they arrived and made you feel a little bit better, sweetie. She's got a beautiful gypsy dog now, so go check them out. They're absolutely cute.
These are absolutely the softest and most sturdy thing I've ever felt. I cannot wait to pop my socks in and see how they look. Oh my god. I'm so excited.
So if you're looking for fun yarn, she does amazing Harry Potter colorways, and they're great. But on my shop news, so I did this one. I did another collaboration with Monica from Yarn Sling. She's Yarn Slinger Mistress, and she's out of Arizona. And lucky her, she has been going mini yarn crawling with Kay from Crazy Sock Lady. So I'm totally jealous, girls. Totally. But Monica and I decided we needed to do a Tootsie Pop bag and collaboration. So we have I Monica has these in her shop. I have one left, but if you like them, I will also link Monica's shop here. She has them in her shop. Not only do you get beautiful, beautiful yarn in this gorgeous colorway, and it is on her 7525 463 yards Mr. Owl, you will receive a how many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop, Mr. Owl? And then we got a wonderful progress keeper to go with it. Look at Simply Serving. It's a lobster claw Mr. Owl. So you will get sock bag, yarn, and stitch marker. And I believe she has them in her shop right now for $55. Again, if I sell out, and I only think I have one left, please, please, please go over and check her out. Her yarn, again, you dyers are amazing. Look at those colors. Look at that blue. I sent her a photo of the yarn of the fabric I was thinking for inspiration, and she comes up with this, and she's like, "Do you like it?" How do you say no? I don't like that. That is absolutely gorgeous. And when you take an inspiration photo that is flat, two-dimensional, and you put such vibrant colors into it, and you make them pop, this is not just a one dip it in a bath and you're done kind of dyeing. This is layered dyeing. Now I do have one bag in the Tootsie Pop as a zipper. This is a one of a kind bag with the Tootsie Pops on the Tootsie Rolls. If you like the one kit I have in my shop with this yarn, but you are a zipper bag, let me know. I can combine them and just charge you the difference. But bags normally go for $33.95. We can figure it out. But so this is listed as an individual in the shop. We also have the new Harry Potter. Oops, I can go back here. There we go. Harry Potter, all the houses. Look at this fabric, stained glass. It reminds me a lot of Beauty and the Beast stained glass. It's Creative Fabrics, I believe it is. But it's got a very basic gray on the interior. And this one is available not only as a drawstring, but I believe I have just one left of the zipper, and it's called the Grande Tall, which makes no sense when you think about it in Starbucks terms, but it holds 100 grams more than the drawstring, but it's a tall zipper, much like the flamingos. And this is also in the shop. This one's so fun. This is a one of a kind. Will be the only one listed in the shop because I only had enough fabric for one. But I'm looking at this going, pool knitting. It still squunches really well. I also have, and this one was inspired by Kay, the Crazy Sock Lady, who just moved from, I believe it was North Carolina to Surprise, Arizona, which is where Monica, the yarn slinger, is at. But Kay is celebrating her 5,000 subscriber giveaway, and I wanted to make her something for a giveaway present. So I got to know her a little better. We knew each other kinda, sorta. We did a collaboration back last February with Meg from Bad Wolf. But this one, when I saw the fabric, reminded me of her. So this is available in drawstring and zipper. And you have a chance to win one of these bags over at Kay's podcast. So make sure you check her out if you haven't already. Like she said, she's a crazy sock lady who does incredible designs, and she just released her own shawl pattern. And then we have Harry Potter hit me hard this week. It's all the houses, but not only the houses. Inside is Quidditch. And this is available in the shop. And these are all ready to ship, except which one did I tell you? I can't remember which one I told you. No. Oh, the zipper to co-part for this one. But those are all ready to ship. And that's it for shop news. Can you believe it's been almost an hour? I've been chatting. I don't chat that much. But this brings me to the closing. I don't really have anything that's been crazy going on in life. Like I said, it's been hot. It's been miserable. It's been bearable if you go to a movie a lot. We moved from northern San Diego, where we had an AC and a $600 a month electric bill, to Point Loma, where we have no AC and a $73 electric bill. So we have great cross ventilation. Other other than that, things are going along. I've been saddened by a couple of things happening in the social media world. I watched a couple of friends leave social media because of things that were said against them, and all I can say it I'm sad to see that happen. For both parties. If you have something to say to somebody, talk to them. Don't spread things on internet or Instagram or when you and I'm probably just preaching to the choir, but when you put something out in text message, nobody can hear your verbiage. Nobody can see your facial expression or the smirk that you might have. You don't know what damage it can do to both parties, and I hope whoever is hurt by it, just remember. Unfortunately, being on the internet, it's like peeing in a pool. Once you put it out there, it's out there. But the idea is to rise above it, and no matter what, the only person that can make you feel bad about yourself is you. Thank you, Eleanor Roosevelt. I paraphrase, but I just watched Princess Diary, and that was a very moving statement. I don't want to ever give power to people to hurt me anymore. I did that for 40 years, and I hope I will never say anything that can hurt you. And if I do or have, I'm sorry. It was never an intention, but I have, after watching three good friends leave the podcast world or internet groups that we've been in, I'm sorry you're going through it. Don't want to put you on a downer, but I am so happy you joined me. Again, I'm GeorgeAnne from Stitching Plaza. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and comment to win a bag. And also check out the Ravelry group for a free pattern from the Cozy Up Sisters. Until next time we podcast, hopefully it's not 4 weeks, I'll see you at the yarn store. Have a great day.